AJ Ermston-Toft of the Darts World Weekly podcast, and a special welcome to this new feature, Let's Talk Darts. Back in December 2023, it was the Darts World Championships at the Ali Pali, and 30 years on from the inaugural PDC World Championships, which we heavily featured in the magazine, and about the first event, and indeed the first winner, Dennis the Menace Priestley. Dennis at the time was recovering from a recent surgery, so we were especially grateful and delighted when he agreed to talk about this remarkable event and a little about his groundbreaking career. For more exclusive interviews and original content, like and subscribe the YouTube channel. Over to the interview.
Hi Dennis, we're going to have a chat with you today about the World Championship 30 years ago today. So, what were your early impressions of the first WDC PDC World Championships? And did you believe you were involved in something so important for darts?
No, not at the time, Simon. I didn't know the significance of what was on starting. Who could have foreseen that it would, build up to what it is to the present day? No, I never expected it, but we got to start somewhere, and the 14 what stood fast together, united together, proved that what we was doing is what was needed. I mean, obviously, the first people to see that the darts was in the doldrums was such as yourselves, darts companies, not selling as many products. So something had to be done.
Yeah, and was there any extra pressure due to the controversy of the split? And what was your view back then?
Well, I went into it not expecting to win it. To be honest, my form, I'd not put a lot of effort in prior to it, and my form wasn't great. But I just got better and better as it went on. And obviously it was a new venue. I wouldn't say it was seedy, but it was low ceiling, smoky atmosphere, and we were struggling to put bums on seats. The very first off, we were giving tickets away. Now they can't buy them for love nor money. Yeah,
but did you feel any extra pressure because it was the first year since the split?
No, I didn't at all. I just used. Going back 30 years younger, and I'm like 43, 44. I'd seen most things happening, and I just took it as it came, Simon.
Oh, brilliant. So, having played in both, do you prefer the group stage or the single knockout of later years?
Well, we had to introduce the group stage because we were struggling to get enough players. So, 8 groups of 3 was probably a good idea. The idea came up from probably Tommy Cox and Dick Halix. And it meant that we could play, 5 games to win it, same as the old embassy. We played 2 group games, then we played a quarter-final, a semi and a final. So that got us just 5 games. Airtime as well. We got to fill the airtime up what Sky was giving us.
What would you prefer though, straight or group?
I would prefer straight knockout.
Okay, fair enough. And you came through that group very strongly, didn't you? But your game with Jockey was a belter. What were your memories of that game?
Well, I had great memories of it, and didn't realise how good a game it was until I did an interview the other day, last week, and the averages was nearly 95, which then 30 years ago was a good average.
It's not a bad average now, Den.
No, Jockey set it off. I don't know if I had the first throw at 140 and Jockey followed with a 180. They were the first two throws to the board, 140, 180.
Wow. And then your quarter and semi-final was solid with a win over Everson, being tough looking. Were they comfortable though?
Well, the looking back of them, yes, they was comfortable. Peter Everson actually, he was the only one to shoot an average better than what I had all week. I think he had a 97 average when he won his game prior to playing me. So he was probably form player.
Yeah. And then obviously your thoughts and expectations before taking on Phil Taylor.
Well, I'd no scarred mind at that particular time. You know, I'd been beating him more or less every time I played him. He only got the better of me after 95, 96. And prior to that, I was a lot better than Phil.
And so then the final scoreboard, because it was one way, it was one way then, really. You outplayed him.
Yes, thoroughly outplayed him. But I didn't realise how good we'd actually played. I think that was a 94 average in final.
Yeah, so that was above what the Lakeside ever has been, because that was like 92s winning that, wasn't it?
Yeah. Apparently, I didn't know until after when I won at Lakeside. I was the first player in playing the 5 games to win it that averaged 90 in each round. Yeah,
well, you'd have probably done all right in this Lakeside, having as you are now, looking back. Anyway, so being the first to lift this major trophy, it can never be taken away from you. How did it feel back then and now looking back?
I mean, obviously, you know, you're in the moment, aren't you? That when it happens, it was obviously a great feeling, you know, to have won so convincingly. Looking back of it, the significance of it's mind blowing when you think how it's progressed since.
Yeah, unbelievable. And looking back then, have you got a favourite moment and memory from the whole over the 30 years?
From that particular final?
Well, no, just overall, really. I guess, have you got, when you look back, you know, what's your kind of favourite memory of the whole 30 years?
Well, I always, when people ask me, Simon, I'm not saying it because it's Windmill World Masters, but that's the finest game of darts I ever played when I won the Windmill World Masters.
Who was that against?
I beat Gregory in final and Warner in semi-final, but
the whole tournament from the floor all the way through.
I don't know how many times I played. Yeah, it was starting on the floor and then finishing the next day. The last 8 went back, I do believe. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's brilliant. I mean, because you always said it was the toughest one to win.
Well, it wasn't only that. I mean, I played absolutely out of my skin. I had a 35-point-something average against Alan Warriner and just short of 35 average against Gregory in the final. And
that is tremendous.
And I did get a chance to see it on video type of thing, and there wasn't a game went above 15 darts until the very last leg where I hit double 8.
So when you're in a game playing that well, are you just in your flow? Are you just absorbed? Have you just got no real consciousness? What's the feeling?
Give it in a nutshell. When I was at my best, I could block everything out and it was concentration. I mean, I'd love to play like Luke Humphries and Michael Smith, but it just wasn't possible for me. So my game were all about mental strength and concentration.
Yeah, and but Dennis, you did it for so long. So thanks for that interview, Dennis. We'll be publishing that for you to have a look at, and obviously we wish you a good Christmas on that. Thanks, Dennis.
Same likewise with you. I hope you have a fantastic Christmas with your family, Simon.
Thanks, Den.
So there's our interview with Dennis the Menace Priestley. I'd like to thank Simon as well for all his time and efforts on that interview. If you like this kind of content, please remember to like and subscribe so you'll get your Darts World fix, whether it be the podcast or indeed Let's Talk Darts.